it's good to have self-control, but like also know like when to let go, because you really have to feel your emotions. As women, we are like emotional beings. So sometimes we try to put up this hard face, and then we go at home, start crying and break down, and you don't want it to build up. You feel me?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm collabing with my friend Cheyenne. So Cheyenne, she has a YouTube channel where she focuses on female energy. She got a lot of soft girl era type of vibes. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe to her channel and support and watch her videos because she's the bomb. I be watching all of them. So you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes. Oh my god. Hey everyone, I'm Cheyenne. We're back with another video. I'm so happy and grateful to be here. I'm super excited. I'm 24. I'm a high school teacher and, you know, a content creator as well. YouTube channel is all about like becoming the best version of yourself, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Like, we just want to be a whole high value woman. We talk about self-care, girl advice, you know, everything. So make sure y'all check me out.
Yes, guys, like I said, subscribe, like all her videos, watch, and make sure to support. So with that being said, we're going to be getting into some topics today about soft girl era, because that's something I think I struggle with, and I think that in today's day and age we all kind of struggle with, because we kind of have like this pressure to be so masculine and kind of like have our stuff together. Like if you're not a female bossler, or what is it, hustler? Female hustler, like, you know, you don't got nothing going for yourself. So I feel like it's something we all struggle with. So I'm gonna be asking her some questions, and she's gonna be giving us some answers. And we're gonna get right in. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, my first question to you is, what is the soft girl era? Like, how would you define it? Like, what characteristics are kind of like in a soft girl?
For me, I think when I think about soft girl, well, for me, let me tell this about myself. I'm a retired toxic ex-girlfriend. Okay, that's exactly what I am. And when I think about soft, I think anything that's not toxic. I think of fruits of the spirit. So when you think of fruits of the spirit, I think joy, happiness, self-control, peace. So I think all well-rounded woman that's like spiritually, emotionally, physically, all that good. And she prioritized like self-care. She also prioritized like her energy, like anything feminine, all that she do. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I agree. I think like basically being a soft girl, like, it's allowing your emotions to play. It's not trying to look hard and like, you know, trying to act like you have to have everything together. We're all just trying to figure things out, and we're girls, like, we're emotional, we cry, we're, you know, we're soft.
Unapologetically yourself. You feel me? Like
And then like with like soft girl era, I think what a lot of people mix it up with is like luxury living, and like they have to like maintain themselves, like have this high maintenance schedule. So do you think that that's like relevant to being a soft girl? Do you think you have to like spend a bunch of money on nails, hair, makeup?
Heck no. If anything, I love baddie on a budget. Okay, you can do all of that and make you can turn anything into luxury, to be honest. If you and you don't have to spend that much money doing it. I barely get my nails done. I always do press-ons. I do my own hair, makeup. I do anything that makes me feel high maintenance. I don't have my own apartment yet, but girl, I walk into my room like it's a luxury apartment. I romanticize everything. Like with soft life too, it's about like intentionally like living too, because I don't think you should always plan everything. Sometimes you should let things flow, but being intentional really helps too. Like as far as like what you're dating, being picky about who you want to hang around with and stuff like that. So it's all also about like learning yourself more, setting boundaries for yourself. I think that's also a part of like the soft life era. That's like the self-control part.
No, I definitely agree. I think I think that's a good point because I saw somebody talking about like control when it comes to being a soft lady. And I feel like part of becoming softer is learning to let go of control.
Yeah.
Like not wanting to dominate everything, like not wanting everything to go your ways. Because like I think about it and I'm thinking like in the past, did I ruin some friendships because things didn't go my way? Like, I gotta really think about it because like I feel like especially when you are like a boss woman like us, like you have your own business, like you're just so used to doing things on your own. It's kind of like weird when somebody else is trying to do things for you and you feel like all of a sudden you have to take control.
Yeah.
So like would you agree that that's kind of like a important quality to have to like be able to just not control everything?
Yeah, I feel like it's good to have self-control, but like also know like when to let go, because you really have to feel your emotions. As women, we are like emotional beings, so sometimes we try to put up this hard face, and then we go at home, start crying and break down, and you don't want it to build up. You feel me?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to build up because like I don't know, I just feel like when you allow yourself to get to that point, like it's just no longer healthy. Like there's just so many things I think like in our society that has become unhealthy for women that are being perceived as normal. Such as like team no sleep. Like
the hustle bustle culture.
Toxic hustle culture is a freaking thing.
Like
that is something I definitely had to retire from. And when I say it's unhealthy, I mean like quite literally it's unhealthy. Like I literally burned out a whole hormone that you need. I'm talking I lost sex drive. Really? I lost like ability to like feel like emotions. Like I just felt like I was on like autopilot 24/7. And I feel like that's like the side of hustle culture that nobody really shows. And it's being like put into our face like it's so normal nowadays, and it's not.
Even with being a full-time entrepreneur, I had to be like on go drive all the time, and it low-key, not even low-key, it high-key drew me crazy, where I had to like shut off from the world for like a good like minute and just like recuperate. And I ain't like it. I got really depressed because I was really just depressing. Like, man, I ain't like it.
I feel like that's like another thing is like no one talks about like the depression, the anxiety,
God,
like the loneliness you feel, and like taking so much on yourself is just stressful. Like you feel so alone and sad when like you're trying to put up like this, like I got everything together, like trying to impress everybody, like you know. So I feel like I don't know, like it's not for me. Like I definitely have to say no to that.
I feel that too, because sometimes too you also feel like you're not doing enough, but at the same time you gotta understand what is enough to you. Like I used to go to sleep and I'd be like, I can't sleep because I have to do this, I got to do that. It's your mind is constantly moving, and that right there is like tormenting to in a person's mind. And a lot of the times too, a lot of people don't realize, but that's what the devil is trying to like make you do. He's out for your like mind. So he'll constantly try to like put negative thoughts or make you just go crazy, and it's like no.
Negative thoughts is literally the devil. Like I actually recently started opening up to God, and I was very like atheist before, like very not atheist, but like very like I kind of just was like here in the present, like I didn't really believe in like a higher power or anything like that. And I feel like because I was like lacking spirituality, I was lacking so many places in my life. And when I started to like kind of look more into Christianity and like kind of like opening my heart up and like actually opening up my mind to like the religion, I realized like there's a lot of really positive teachings. And ever since I started to hear that like the devil is what puts negative thoughts into your head, anybody around me that I see who is trying to put me down, who's saying I'm unrealistic, who doesn't support my goals, I literally just see them all as little devils.
I love
like
that.
So I just very recent, like 1 month ago, I would say I started opening up to like God, going to church and all that. So it was a big thing, but I don't know, I feel like it just helped me open up my heart and realize like life doesn't have to suck.
Exactly.
Like, life does not have to suck.
It don't. It really don't. Sometimes you just gotta let God do his thing, and then you have to really keep reminding yourself. That's why it's good to always do affirmations and stuff like that, because the devil will try to be like, you're not this, but God says you are. You're like, you're perfect, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're all of those things. And when you keep telling yourself that, you know actually attract those things.
Me personally, this is something I started doing too, is like I might not be like sitting there and consciously listening to every single word in that affirmation, but like I'll just play it in the background because I know subconsciously it's still going into my head.
Yes.
So that's one thing I've been doing, and I feel like all these wonderful, like crazy, amazing things have been happening in my life that like I didn't have before, and I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just one of those things I feel like science just doesn't explain. Like it's just kind of like a spiritual explaining, and it's actually crazy how different it could be when you can put positive thoughts in your head, even subconsciously.
Yeah, that's why I like to have like something playing, like something positive playing.
100%. So one thing I kind of wanted to get into is like, you know, all of us have both masculine and feminine energy. What do you think about like balancing the two energies, I guess, is like, or like advice for balancing them, I guess, because I think a lot of people are struggling with that.
I feel you. I feel like you can't really always get like a perfect balance. It depends like on the person and the situation. Certain things I feel like you said, if everything is going bad and stuff like that, you have to put on your shoes. But at the end of the day, like say for example, if you're like in a relationship with somebody, especially if the man is a man of God, he should know that he's supposed to protect and provide. So certain things, like I would say like you paying for the date and stuff. Well, a first date is a little bit masculine, like girl.
I agree.
The first date, I'm like, it's a little bit masculine, like he need to protect and provide, like pay. Like it's like, okay girl, learn how to like be a girl, let a man do his job, and you know. I'm not saying that you should not pay for nothing at all the time, but like I'm just saying like it's like code switching.
Like, there's just some beauty in having class. Now, I'm not saying like if you do like your relationship a different way, that's bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because like you can be a super masculine woman and that's a beautiful thing. You can be a super feminine woman, that's a beautiful thing. But I know a lot of people are just struggling to learn to find that balance. So as far as like the date thing, I would say I kind of agree with you. Like me personally, I do like paying for the guy, like spoiling.
I like spoiling too.
Like
so reciprocating energy.
Like I'm a spoiler. Like we're a partnership. I love you, you love me. I do things for you, you do things for me. That's just how I see it. Now, that's when we're talking about now when we get to like the first date topic, I would feel so weird paying for a first date. That would just feel so weird. I would feel like a dude.
What? Exactly. That's why I'm like, yeah, girl. Sometimes you just gotta let a man be a man. You know?
Like open the door.
Open the door. Like
chair out.
Act like the queen you are. Like you know what's that word? You are the prize. You are the prize. Like act like it too. Like even if it's like your first time, like getting wine and dine, act like you used to it. Like I'd be like,
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Cause
that's so funny. That is so funny. But no, it's such a good point, because I think also there's guys who actually want to like be providers and like they want to like protect a lady, and like there's a counterculture for everything. I know like nowadays guys are taught to be like more feminine and this and that. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's people who want, you know, that more masculine side, and there's guys who have that and who enjoy showing that masculine side. So I think there's just like a beauty in having like that yin and yang, but you know, ultimately you do what works for you best. Whatever works for the couple. So with that being said, I think we kind of tapped into like the characteristics of a soft lady, kind of like what it is. I feel like now you guys kind of have an understanding of like what we're grasping at. So like, do you have any tips on how to become softer?
For me, some tips I would like to like give out. I think it's really important to always like personally develop and stuff like that, because I see, especially like with young girls, it's like sometimes they put so much in a relationship where it's like they don't know themselves. So I'm like, sometimes you need to have like, you have to stay in solitude and like learn things for yourself, so that you don't have to be happy. Like you can be happy with yourself and not just
depend on someone else's happiness.
Depend on somebody else's happiness, and learn how to be happy, be yourself, you know, with the person too, you know. So another tip I highly recommend is to like, you know, not only just personally developing, but like taking yourself out on dates. Taking yourself out on dates, like practice doing things like by yourself and do things that you love. I'm a hardcore person that doing things that make you happy, because when you do things that make you happy, it's like
you feel better.
Like you treat people better. Like
You perform better. You do better.
Everything. And like one of my last tips is to make sure you prioritize like your spiritual or just get closer to God, because like I feel like he is going to be the one that's gonna also like give you that love or anything that you're searching for, and he'll bring you through. Like I don't know what else to say, but I just know that God and Jesus is what
he'll guide your hand.
Yeah, he'll guide your hand most def. And then always remember that faith without works is dead. So make sure you always have faith, and like the opposite of like faith is fear. So I highly recommend, in order to like take that fear off, is to try different things. Fear is just, the acronym is fear of like missing out, I think.
False evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real. So a lot of the times it don't even be real stuff. Like it just be stuff made up in our head. So girl, forget them things. Practice faith. You might think you know better plans, but God has way better plans. He's like, oh, you think you're gonna get this little thing and that's it? Nah, girl, I got like the whole moon, the sky, the stars, like everything.
He's like, I already have a plan for you.
Yeah, and it's way better than what you like imagine. So just always have faith, and
that is so, I'm so happy you said that, because faith is so important. And I'm not just saying like Christian faith, like you need to have faith in whatever you believe in. So if you are spiritual, if you're Buddhist, even if you're atheist,
even
like
if you believe in the universe,
in something, like have faith in something that will guide you along spiritually, because that is so important. And so with that being said, I wanted to ask you, because you were talking about personal development, is there like certain habits you practice? Like, do you read? Do you meditate in the morning?
Yes.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, what do you do? Let us know the routine.
Okay, so I do feel like manifestation is like a real thing. As well, I do believe like what you put out, you can attract. So in the mornings, I usually wake up, I pray first, and then I will like do like a 10-minute morning manifestation. Like I just visualize everything, and I didn't even know this was like a real thing. I recently got into it, like I think this year or last year, and I realized, wow, all the things that I really dreamed of, like actually I thought of it before it actually happened. So I'm like, damn. Without a vision, what's that quote? Without a vision, people perish. So I feel like you should always often visualize the future you. And when you visualize the future you, every day you're gonna like become towards better, you know, that person. So I was like, what does the future me do? She eats well, she works out. So I eat well, I work out. I try to read personal development books, but it's like I could never finish them.
That's why I started doing audiobooks. Like I cannot sit down and read, because I feel like it's not a waste of time, but I feel like in that moment I'm like sitting and reading. I could be doing so many different things.
What? I remember you was reading, what's that book? You said something about Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
You know, me now, I'm really not a fan of that book.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of that book, because like back then when I read the book, I thought it was like the most gold information I've ever heard in my whole life. But now in retrospect, I'm looking at it and I feel like all that book taught me to do was go into hustle culture. So that book was actually what made me get out of my luxury apartment, go into my old apartment, like get a roommate. And I feel like in hindsight, like I shouldn't have done that, because when I sacrificed my personal comfort and like safe space, I feel like I started to go down in so many other areas. Mental health, I started to go down physically, I started to like gain weight, I was more stressed. So yeah, reading that book now, I'm like, I wish I kind of never read it, because I'm so against like sacrificing your comfortable lifestyle. And I'm not saying like getting luxury cars, getting luxury apartments. I'm just saying make yourself comfortable. Because when you don't make yourself comfortable and you don't make yourself happy, you really cannot progress in other areas in life.
I agree. I agree. You read the one with the cash flow quadrant?
I did also actually read the cash flow quadrant, but I feel like once you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all his books kind of have like the same concept. You know what I mean? So I think they're good. I think they're definitely a good like foundation for financial literacy. But I always say, whenever you take advice, it doesn't matter if it's like a homeless person, it doesn't matter if it's like a multi-millionaire. Take every piece of advice with a grain of salt, because not one situation is going to be the same for everyone. Like she said, God has a plan for you, the universe has a plan for you, and you don't know how you're going to get from point A to point B, but the journey is going to be like
it's going to be like this.
But you're going to end up there. So you can't take like one person's advice who became rich and then apply it to yourself, because your situation might be completely different.
Yeah.
So.
I 100% agree. And that's why it made me think about like a whole bunch of you don't want to be a jack of all trades too, because a lot of people are getting rich off of different things. And I'd be like, my sister, she low-key struggles with this. Like she'll be like, oh, this coach, he's a millionaire, so he's gonna like tell me what to do. And then you find out like
it's not that easy.
Yeah. And then she'll go with something else. And it's like everybody's journey is different. You honestly got to think about what you like and how you can make money from what you like.
Yeah. And then I think another thing, like people don't talk about, is everybody has a different skill set. So you're a teacher, right? You see this kind of stuff. Like, I might not be good at, let's say, math, and it might take me a while to pick up on like things that might require math, where someone else might be better at like marketing, or let's say, I might not be good at math, but I might be better at marketing, and like marketing might be my forte. That's how I get rich. But somebody gets rich off of writing like math formulas. I don't know. So it's just, I think everyone's so different, and like what they don't talk about is like everybody picks things up differently. Everybody progresses differently. Everybody has different interests. Because I also fully believe that at the core of everything, you need to have passion.
Yeah.
Because when things get hard, that is going to be literally the only thing that is pushing you.
The driving force.
Literally. So I always say, like, literally don't look at someone's success and think like that is going to be your story. Because your story, I promise, is going to be so different.
I 100% agree. And to be honest, it made me think, like, not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur. Like, some people are made to be 9-to-5ers, you know?
There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that, too. And I high-key had to, like, realize that, too. Because, like, even with doing, like, full-time entrepreneurship for, like, a whole year, I was like, wow, I was fooled. Because I'm like, these people sold me, like, a lifestyle.
I agree.
And I was just like...
I can totally agree with that.
I was like, no, I'd rather just not limit myself. You know, if I have a 9-to-5 that I like, then I would do that, and I will also do my business. That's something I'm passionate about too. Like, never like limit yourself at all.
Yeah, and it's kind of like how you were saying, like, people, you know, like, kind of, I guess, romanticize entrepreneurship. That's like another thing I kind of want to talk about, because I feel like on TikTok, on Instagram, you're seeing like all these high points,
glitz and glam,
high points of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
When you actually get into it, it's so much hard work. Like, all these big businesses, all these people that have all these orders and big amounts of followers, do you think that just happened overnight?
No.
Like, it may seem like it, but you don't see the effort they put into growing their following, or like developing the pre-launch, like, you know, material and whatnot. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into being an entrepreneur, and in the very beginning, you're literally like a one-person show.
You're doing everything. You content creating,
customer service, order
emails. Yeah, you're doing everything
in one. And I agree with you. Like, some people are definitely made for it. Like, some people are made to like wake up, grind, hustle. Like, they're ready to cut out like their good, like, healthy foods, like their good lifestyle. Like, some people like literally cannot take it. I mentally cannot take it, like, working that hard. Like, it's not for me. Like, I want to make the most money passively. And there's so many ways to make money now. So many ways to make money, and you do not have to be a business owner.
Yeah.
So
you don't.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that. Like, it's like a bandwagon that everybody jumped onto, and it's just not the same for everyone.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah. I'm really happy that, you know, people, you know, at least tested the waters and see if it's like good for them or not. Now I see a lot of people doing podcasts.
Podcasts are dope. I do like podcasts.
I love podcasts, but I low-key feel like it's like one of those things. You know how 2020, everybody jumped on, like, have a trend. Like, it was like a trend, like a business.
Yeah, like, get off the 9-to-5 type of thing.
Yeah. But I feel like the same thing with podcasts. I really hope it's like longevity with podcasts, and, you know, people give like more value, because I like podcasts too.
I do too. I think, like, if I can't read a book, I like to listen to a podcast. Like, I feel like the more I surround myself with knowledge and like fill my brain with knowledgeable things, the smarter I become. Like, the more educated I sound, the more I can talk about a large variety of topics with different people. Because that's also an important skill to have, to be able to talk to different people.
Yeah.
So I like podcasts, but like she was saying, I feel like some people just really be doing it to like just do it.
Yeah.
But then some people have like that passion behind it, and you can definitely tell like when someone's passionate and they're doing a podcast because that's what they want to do.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you, so I know you had like a physical store, and then you also did online.
So it was actually an online store, but I had pop-up shops that I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, what do you like, what do you prefer? Like, do you like the pop-ups or do you like online? Like,
it's hard because I feel like when you're doing pop-ups, like your audience is right there. If you pick the right spot, your audience is like right in front of your face, and sales are so much easier to make. But then like, sales are easier to make, but in the long run, like you're doing more work in person. Like it's not as passive as you could make it if you focus on running an online business. So me personally, I'm not good with like creativity. I'm not good with marketing. So I think one mistake I made with my business is I didn't invest into like good marketing, and that could have really blew me up. But my pop-up shops though, I had like some really good days.
They look fire. Like it was one that you did with inside the mall. I've always wanted to do one like that.
Oh, that was upsetting because they stopped that location, and that location, my very first time, it was like okay, like I broke even. But then once I figured out like how to market my setup better,
with
like,
the mannequins and
yes,
stuff.
I invested in like mannequins, a backdrop. I did like the whole 360. Girl, I did $1,200 in one day.
Yeah, I seen that. I was like, look at you.
$1,200.
I was like,
in one day.
Yes, I love that because I used to work inside a clothing store. I was like,
sorry guys, the camera cut out. But as we were saying,
I was seeing. I was like, the mannequins really do help, and I like your setup. Like it's all about how it like looks, the aesthetics. So I was like, it's giving.
Aesthetics go a long way with businesses. People don't realize that. Like when you look at something for the first time, you're gonna judge what it looks like, right? Whether that be a person, like we don't want to admit it, but it's the truth. Whether that be a person or like a store, food, like you're gonna look at it and you're gonna judge it first. So like if something doesn't look nice and you're just like, it doesn't matter how good your product is, how friendly you are, how good your customer service is, if your product doesn't look nice and you're not marketing out, nobody is gonna buy from you. Nobody. So that's kind of like a tough question because like online, obviously it's much easier. Like I'm in my air conditioned house fulfilling orders, but like in person, it's hot, it's sweaty, you gotta talk to people. But like I love like having that relationship.
I feel like you build relationship more.
And like having that face-to-face interaction with my customers. Like I'm someone who hates talking to customers, but when it came to my customers, girl, I could talk my whole life off. Like they were like, it was just a vibe. It's just so different when like it's your business and like you're talking to people. So I did love it. I sometimes like wonder, did I close it too early? But sometimes I feel like I did what I was supposed to do to be living in my purpose.
You did your thing, because when you did the video, I was like, wow, I could relate to you so much because I had recently closed mine too, and I was just like, it just no longer served me. At least you see, because a lot of people wouldn't even take that risk. So the fact that you even took that risk is a big like, girl, you did your thing.
Thank you. I always say like it's definitely okay to try different things and let them go, but just if you are going to try it, make sure you're going like 1,000% in.
100%.
So that's like my advice to you.
So how did you balance like family, relationships, and like friendships when it came to like your business? Especially if like you came, like say for example, you're coming from a family that doesn't really like support entrepreneurship and stuff like that. How did you like do it?
So honestly, it was hard. Like when I did get into like entrepreneurship for the first time, I was 19. So this is like way before the whole wave like happened of like everybody jumping onto it during COVID and this and that. And I kind of always knew that something in me was a little bit different. And when I tell you guys, I had so many people that I had to lose in order to grow. That is the truth. Like so many, like when you start living in your purpose, you literally get clarity on like who is supposed to be in your life and who isn't. So like I lost a lot of friends. I have cried around my family, and I didn't sever relationships, but like there is kind of like that tipping point when they keep telling you like, oh, you can't do this. Do you think like not everyone else is doing this? Blah blah blah. So It was definitely difficult. I was living with my parents at the time when I did start my business. And me growing up, we were always unstable. Like, we moved around a lot. So when I was 19, turning 20, I actually ended up moving back to Wisconsin in the middle of starting my business. So that was really hard. And like, at the time, my parents like didn't even care. They didn't see the vision in my business. They basically like were talking down on it.
Wow.
But I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, it hurts to hear that kind of stuff at first.
Yeah.
But eventually you do get used to it.
Yeah.
Like, eventually it becomes like normal that no one understands you.
Something that's so easy to block out. Like,
yeah, it's like, it's become so normal. It's like you realize like not everybody is built to have the vision that I built.
Exactly. And I feel like you're the one that's seeing the vision. So it doesn't really matter what they say and stuff like that. Like, it's hard to understand like when you first do it, but when you start getting used to it, it's like
just funny.
Yeah, it's
like you just start laughing at it.
It's like yeah, they don't see it, they don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know, you can't help them what they don't know. You know,
no, you can't. And it's like all you can literally do is sit there and hope that one day their vision hits them.
Yeah,
like that's the only thing you can do. You can't force people to believe in you. You can't force people to like you. You can't force people to say, oh my god, like I support your business, because not everyone's gonna do that, and not everyone's gonna be supportive of what you're doing. So you just kind of gotta learn to block out the haters. I know it sounds very generic, but like you just gotta kind of learn how to like filter certain people from your life. You gotta start to learn to be around the right kind of people also. So when you're on that journey, you're kind of gonna know who's like meant to be there and who's not. So
okay, I had another. Okay, that was a good one.
It was a good one.
So how did you know when it was time to leave something or leave someone? Like I remember you said like your business wasn't like serving for you anymore. So how did you know like it was that time to try something
to just
new?
let go? It kind of ties into like what I was talking about earlier. When you are living, you should be in a state of flow. You should not be resisting. And at this point, I felt like I had my business and I was doing my business to please others. And instead of thinking about myself, I was so worried about what would my subscribers think that I don't have a boutique anymore? What would my family think that I closed it? Like, what would my customers think? Like, your customer is the biggest person you're probably going to disappoint when you're closing your store. So I was just thinking so much about everyone else around me, about what everybody else wants, about how everybody else is going to perceive me if I let go. But I just had to kind of like stop for a second and be like, wait. Like, you're 22. You have so much life ahead of you. You need to stop trying to please others, because when you're dead and you're 6 feet under, you're gonna regret the things you didn't do, not what you did do. And I already knew, like, at this point, I had done this business for 3 years. It wasn't where I wanted it to be. It wasn't doing bad, but I was still doing a lot of work, a lot of hands-on work. I had to be very present. And it's like, girl, I'm trying to retire before I'm 25. And like, I just want to focus more on like investing, like YouTube, like
me too.
Content creation, like stuff that's fun and stuff that can still make me very, very rich without me having to be physically there
doing
and, like,
the work all the time,
doing the most. Like, it just wasn't serving my purpose anymore. And I used to be into hustle culture, and it's just something I grew out of, and that was part of letting go of my business.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what made me connect with you a lot more, because I was just like, oh my god, we went through this thing. I had my business for 3 years too, and I was like, yeah, I can't.
It's a lot, guys.
So do you feel like it's better to have a 9-to-5 and a business, or like to pick which one? Like,
I think that all depends on you. Like, I think it's really hard to tell one person what to do, because I think personally there's no problem in having a job. If you, like, let's say your goal is to be financially free and you have a 9-to-5, it's just not realistic for everybody to drop their job and just start a business.
Exactly.
Like, some people have kids, some people have rent to pay.
Exactly.
Some people have, like, you know, like credit card debt. Like, you can't just, not everybody can just drop their business and drop their job and just start their business.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. Like, for me, my goal is to be financially free. I have a 9-to-5 that I enjoy. I have a 9-to-5 that gives me a lot of freedom. I have a 9-to-5 that is remote. It pays well. So it's not miserable. And so in my situation, I don't think there's a problem in having a 9-to-5, because I'm using it to fuel my financial freedom. Now, when it comes to like, if you want to be a full-blown entrepreneur, It just depends. Like I said, some people like live with their parents. They can drop their job, get straight into like, you know, drop shipping, day trading. They have money and time and everything to risk. So it just depends. And then there's some people who enjoy a 9 to 5 and they like having a side hustle, or there's just people who don't want any responsibility, like
at all.
They want to work. They want to know when their check's coming in. Like they want to know like a daily task list of what needs to be done. So I think it's hard for me to like sit down, point a finger, and be like, hey, this is what you should be doing. I always say just like do what works for you best, and then life will flow after that. I always say where passion goes, energy flows.
Period.
So so whatever you feel passionate and whatever you feel like flows the most and aligns the most with you, I think that's what you should be doing.
Yes, I love that answer. All right, so I wanted to ask, so what are some things that you do that keeps you like flowing, keeps you consistent, that keeps you going? Like
motivated.
Yeah.
So let's begin by saying that motivation comes and goes. So it's a feeling. You can't rely on that.
Yeah.
So you cannot wake up and be like, I'm so motivated for my business.
Yeah.
And then just like when you're not motivated anymore, you're like, no. Like that's not how it works.
Exactly.
That's not how it
My
works.
emotions be going up and down by the day.
Yeah. So because motivation like is not always going to be there, I do have certain things that I do to keep me motivated all day, if you will. So something I do is like I love YouTube. Like there's so many motivational channels that literally got me through some hard shit.
Do you watch E.T.?
E.T.?
The hip hop preacher?
No, not Prince EA, right? You're not talking about him? No, I don't watch him, but like I love like Fearless Motivation. I think Fearless Soul is another channel. Team Motivation. There's like I think it's like Richie Lionel Motivation.
He sounds so familiar.
I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I love motivational YouTube channels. Like anytime I start doubting myself and I'm like, I can't do this, I'm not good enough for this, I'm like, stop. And I put on either like a motivational video, I put on affirmations. There's also an app called Mindset that I really like, and it's free.
Really?
Yeah, and it's free. And like, so when I'm working out, like I'll put on a playlist that they have, and like they'll just
read you like a book or something, or
they give you motivational speeches. Like it's just playlists. They have like a paid version, but honestly, the free is so good. Like I don't think anybody really needs to pay if they don't want to. But it's great. I recommend that app. I like affirmations. I actually deleted my whole old social media account. When I started a new account, I only followed like motivational stuff, travel and leisure, like stuff that's gonna make me happy. Because you're not gonna realize it, but like social media takes a big part of our life.
A big part. And I feel like a lot of the times like comparison is the thief of joy. So whenever you're seeing people that's like that you're like a little bit envious towards, or you feel like, oh, it's doing better than you and stuff like that, it makes you doubt yourself.
Like demotivated.
Yeah, demotivated. So that's why I'm like, okay, you gotta keep like...
Yeah, and then you gotta remember, like, success is defined by how far you came from where you were before.
Ooh.
So,
hey,
you cannot say... You can't be like, I don't have a Mercedes. You gotta look back and be like, dude, I used to drive a hoopty. Like, that's how it is. Like, right now I drive a Mazda. I love my Mazda. 2016 is new to me. I was driving in 03.
Very much new.
Yeah.
I was driving a 2007 Toyota.
Yeah.
And I love that Toyota.
Yeah. I also had an 06 Toyota. That's a story. That's a story. But it's like basically success is like you have to compare yourself to only you. Like you cannot compare yourself to social media.
Yeah.
Social media shows you the pretty stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can use that as a motivator, like to do better. Like let's say this girl got a car, you can be like, okay, I need to do better to be like that. But don't ever use it to compare yourself, because comparison is literally the destruction of success. Like literally. So I always say like read books. Whether it be audiobooks or, you know, physical books, something that's going to fuel your knowledge and stem your knowledge and motivate you. That's always good. I say the Mindset app is a big one. YouTube motivational channels and having good friends, honestly.
Yeah, having good friends. Cause I feel like, you know, there's like real connection is going to help you like a lot. Like even with my sister, she was more so of the not the outgoing, but like the talkative person. She was good at network marketing. And for me, I was, you know, shy, the quiet one or whatever. But being around her help me, you know, better network market. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm here to make a friend, a real friend, a genuine friendships, good vibes, laughs. Like, I love that.
Yeah, and I always say, like, work on the skills that you either already have and you need to make them better, or work on the skills that you don't have and you want to get better at.
Exactly.
So, like, you being shy, that's something you had to work on. I'm not very talkative, believe it or not.
Really?
Believe it or not, I didn't go to high school graduation.
Why?
I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to homecoming.
Why?
Girl, I was like, I don't want to talk to anyone. Like, I used to work in the warehouse, never customer service. Like, girl, anything I could do to not talk to people, I was like, that was me.
Wow.
So that's a skill I had to work on. And then I always say, like, once you find out what works for you and what you're good at, it's like pressing the accelerator.
Period.
And that's it. You got it. Like, you're flowing now.
Yeah. I found out that my friend is a six-figure earner. I was like, oh, I got me a six-figure earner friend. Like, cool. So how did that come about? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so my 6 figures is actually from my 9-to-5 job. So that's just full transparency. So my profession, which I'll make a video on this later because it's like easy, it's remote, it pays well. We kind of don't do shit. So I had
my job too.
Really?
I'm telling you about it later.
We gotta make videos about this. So basically, what I did was I had 2 jobs of my profession, and I was making $140,000 in between the 2. So I was
with both jobs.
With both jobs.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I was kind of like steady rocking, you know, bringing in the good income. And then one job found out that I had another job, and they were kind of just like, yeet.
Wow.
And so that happened. But the thing is, like, even though I had 6 figures and I don't have 6 figures anymore, what that made me do was, like, I literally sat there and realized that I just made 6 figures. Like, 6 figures is not as hard and as far-fetched as everybody makes it seem. Like, 4-figure order days are not as hard as everybody makes it seem. Like, 6 figures is not as hard as everyone makes it seem. And so when I became that person and I had like my little moment, like my 1 month of making 6 figures, I was like, dang, this is super possible. Like, it's not that hard. It became
realistic.
Yeah, it's realistic. Like, I'm 22 years old making 6 figures. Like, that's what you hear on YouTube. That's what you hear on TikTok.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got it. And it wasn't hard to achieve at all. So yeah, that's how my little 6 figures came about.
Wow.
They'll come back. I'm working on it. I'm currently freelancing, and then my YouTube is almost monetized, so 6 figures will come back to me before the end of the year. I know it.
And make sure you guys subscribe to this video and watch the whole entire thing, because she needs to get her watch time, everything.
I do.
So she can hit her goals.
And you got to do the same for her, because her videos are good. Like, I've been watching it all the way through, all the way. So yeah, that's 6 figures for me.
Period. All right, so do you have like any tips or advice, closing remarks?
The closing remarks and advice, I always say, like, just don't give up on your dreams. Like, I always tell people, you don't have a dream. The dream has you.
Period.
So if you wake up with this calling every day that you need to do something, that you're made for more, that you need to chase something that is like an unexplainable feeling, then you need to go for it. And the worst that can happen is, like, you find out that you hate it, and then you just don't do it anymore.
Exactly.
But, like, what's better, doing that and finding out you don't like it, or wasting your whole life wondering, like, what would have happened if I did do that? So I always say, like, never give up on your dreams. Don't listen to other people. Don't listen to people, especially who have a small mind.
Exactly.
Because those people will literally they will literally limit your growth.
Yeah.
Like, if you listen to a person that doesn't have the same vision as you, and who was made to, I don't want to say be less than you, but have something and have a lifestyle less than what you desire, don't listen to them, because you can be grateful and want more.
Exactly.
You don't have to settle for what you have right now.
I love that.
Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that people don't understand is, like, you can want more. This is your life. You have the ability. You're human. You can grow. Like, do you understand that? You can grow. We're humans, and we are made to be whatever we want. We live in America.
And that doesn't mean you're stuck up too. If you want more, that doesn't mean you're stuck up. Always have, like, a humble, mind, and always understand, like, God will give you the desires of your heart. So still try it out. And you waking up and having that desire to want to do something is passion, okay? So go for
purpose.
it. And as he's like, as you're going towards it, he's just like, yeah. and then he gonna give you random blessings thrown in, you know, and it's like, okay, yeah.
And when you see them showering, you're gonna have a full circle moment, and you're gonna be like, whoa. Everything I went through was literally made to put me right here. It was literally made to put me right here. So that's just gonna be like, it's gonna be like a beautiful time in your life. You're not gonna expect it, but it's gonna be so worth it.
Yeah.
So just don't give up.
Yeah, and I always feel like we're not here to in this world just for like ourselves. I feel like we're always here to help others in some type of way. So even when you get to the top, don't stop like being grateful. Don't stop helping people along the way. I feel like that's what makes the World Cup run. It's impact over profits. Okay?
I agree.
Impact over profits.
100%. And every blessing that you give someone else, it's gonna come right back to you. So like, I hate gatekeepers. I hate people.
Oh my God, I hate that. Especially when I was in my clothing store and they used to like with vendors and stuff like that. I used to pay for vendors list. I'm like, why can't they just just say it?
Guys, there's so many free YouTube videos. Like, go on my channel. I have a whole playlist dedicated to vendor lists. Like, I bought one once and I was pissed because it was every vendor I already knew. I was so angry.
I was really shocked. I was like, never again.
Yeah, there's so much free info out there, and I'm not saying mentors are bad and like it's bad to pay for courses, because it definitely can be helpful. But I just think there's also so much free information.
Exactly.
And you never know really the credibility of people and who they are.
They be capping and they rap.
They do.
They do be capping.
They so do, and I have seen it. I mean, it's insane. So I say that, and then I think my last piece of advice before we wrap this up is to stay open-minded. So I feel like the way we grow up, especially with our school system, and like especially if you have immigrant upbringing, you know, like you're very much so taught to have like this closed mind.
Yeah.
Like entrepreneurs are bad. Money is greedy.
School, just be a nurse and that's it. Like, those are the only things that pay.
Yeah.
Lawyer or doctor.
Yeah. Like, I think a lot of people have very poor ideologies and like a very poor mindset about money. And if you can't open up to the possibility of making more money and accepting that there are ways to become rich and very abundant, then the universe can't bless you. God cannot bless you with more money if you're blocking that off. And so I say stay open-minded in like networking, especially. I have found that so many rich people are actually so nice and willing to help you out, because guess what? The real players, they're going to want to help you because they came from where you were before. But the ones who are like rich based off of daddy's money, or like, you know, they're making six figures thinking they're big ballers over here, those are the people trying to put you down. So stay open-minded and really push yourself to be uncomfortable in the people that you meet. You may not feel like you fit in at first, or like you know everything at first, or you don't have the mannerisms, you don't have the poise to be like in a certain group, but just stay open-minded. There's so many people willing to help you out on your road to success. You just got to find them. So I think that's my last piece of advice before I wanted to wrap this up. Was there anything else that you wanted to say?
One advice I would like to say is to get out your comfort zone, because when she was saying that, I was like, yes, getting out your comfort zone really helps, you know, broaden your mind, and like allows you to, you know, to be more flexible and actually versatile and see your capability. Because a lot of people, when they're stuck inside this box, they don't imagine themselves, you know, getting out of the box and stuff like that. So when you see when you get a little bit uncomfortable and you see, oh, I've done this, I've done that, it starts to become easier to you, and it's like, wow, I just turned completely transformed. And you have to be you have to be transformed with the renewing of your mind and everything. Like, if you're still the same person from back in the day, something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Period.
If you're not growing, you're not glowing.
Period.
So
I had so much fun.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for coming on to this video. You guys need to make sure to check out her channel, because we're all about supporting each other here and growing as women and growing a community. So make sure you watch all her videos, share her videos, tell your friends about her channel and all that. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
I love you. I'm so sweaty. I'm sorry.
Girl, me too.
It's okay. We're about to go get some food. We're gonna like cute again. Like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.